Welcome everybody to the Photo Memoirs. This is Don here, as you know, and today we're just doing kind of a podcast, right? So I'm just going to talk with you, and what we're going to discuss is at the very beginning of my photography journey. How did I get started in photography? Right, even before the start, right before I even got the idea of okay, I want to take photographs. I want to pursue photography. Before I even thought of that, right from the beginning, how did I start out? So basically, again, this never really occurred to me that I can get into photography, that I can be a photographer, that I can pursue it passionately as a hobby. When I was young, I remember taking photographs, or not even photographs, just like snapshots, pictures of my family and friends. And at the time when I was a teenager, when I was young, maybe 12, 13, 14, like that kind of age, I remember actually really enjoying having the disposable Kodak cameras, which were film cameras for you can get at the store, probably a convenience store, for like $10 or something like that. And you can wind them up. You hear the little clicking sound, and then you would take one shot, and of course it would have a flash and everything like that with it. And then when you finish the roll of, I think, 24 photos, then you can take it and you can get them developed into pictures. So I remember actually I really enjoyed doing that. So when I got that type of disposable camera, I really enjoyed taking pictures with my family, and later, of course, with my friends as well. So I remember I really enjoyed that, but I never really thought about pursuing photography. I never thought about being a photographer just simply from that. I'm like, oh yeah, I really like taking pictures, but I don't know, there was no like real connection at all at that point that okay, I'm gonna do this all the time, and that this can be something, this can be a big part of my life. It never really had that kind of effect on me. So I wouldn't call myself a photographer at that point. I wouldn't say that I was pursuing or passionate at all, but definitely there was some type of interest. And then years later, actually just a couple years ago, thinking about the beginning of how I got started into photography, I started to remember these bits and pieces from way back when, where I actually did enjoy taking pictures. So I did that when I could. I had the disposable cameras, which I would go in and develop. Just go to the Walmart, pay, I don't know what it was, 25 cents for a picture or something like that to develop. And then, you'd bring the stack of 5x7s home, and then you can enjoy looking through them and see what pictures you got. And mostly, once again, it was pictures, personal pictures, friends, family. That's what it basically was. And I did this here and there when I got the chance. I took a trip with school. I remember taking a trip with school and remembering that one Kodak disposable camera was not going to be enough. So I remember I packed at least two. I think I might have packed 3 cameras for my grade 8 graduation trip, basically what it was. And I used them all, just with friends. And I remember during the trip, it was a 3-day, 2-night trip. We also went to Marine World, so I remember taking lots of pictures with whales and with bears at Marine World. So I still have those pictures somewhere, but it was shot on film. I never scanned them onto a computer or anything like that, so I don't have any digital files, but I have them somewhere. And I was looking for them, but I couldn't find them. I'm gonna have to dig them out from wherever they are hiding, and it would be interesting just to kind of take a look at again. From that, maybe through high school, I'm not recalling any time that I went and got a another disposable camera. But I remember when I finished high school, I started working and doing other things, and with friends, I wanted to also take pictures again. So I remember going and buying just a very cheap kind of point and shoot camera. I think it was a Canon, or maybe it was a Sony. Anyway, it was just maybe like $100, $150 or something like that. Again, it was not very good. Any phone of today would be way better than that camera was. But I remember getting the camera, and then I was using it again to take pictures of friends. And at that time, of course, it was digital, so I have some of those personal photos still now. And then I somehow lost that camera, or it broke, or something happened. And when I moved to Toronto, then at another point again, I was like, hey, it would be really cool if I had a camera where I can take some pictures. And basically the same thing, just with friends, just with family, and it was just for personal things. I didn't really go out into the city and take pictures. I didn't really go to these places and that place and take pictures like I do today. But definitely it was some type of start. Something was there, I just didn't know it yet, basically. And then later on, thinking back, okay, well, I had that interest. It's too bad, I didn't get into it. Too bad I didn't realize it earlier, and then I could have maybe found somebody to learn with, or get it, more into it at an earlier age. So I have some pictures, so I'm going to share those with you. I decided not to share the personal pictures of families and friends, just to kind of protect everybody's privacy. But I have some pictures that I found. I was very surprised to find they're not of my family and not of my friends, but I was still with my family and friends at the time. But I have some pictures that are not with them in the frame, so I'm happy to kind of look at those together. So here we go. One of my first photographs that I can show you that I have on my computer, digital photograph. Nothing very special at all, just down at the beaches in Toronto, and then I took this photo. Nothing special, nothing extraordinary, just that first kind of glance at, hey, I took some photos. This is my journey. This is the very beginning. This is where it all starts, pretty much. So these next photographs are from Canada Bloom's Flower Festival back in 2011. So again, 12 years ago, and again, not extraordinary, not extra special by any means, just these are the pictures that I have right at the very beginning, pretty much. Again, without personal pictures all in the mix. But yeah, these are basically the first pictures that I took that aren't, or that I have access to, that aren't of my family and friends. And that's basically where it all starts. So what do you think? I'd love to know about your very first pictures. Where did it all start for you? Also, I'm very interested to know how you got started, and I'm sure you also have some interesting stories. So for me, the story of how I got into photography started long before I actually even realized it. And I just came across it again, came back to my mind, that I had those earlier interests. I just didn't realize it at the time and didn't make anything of it until, much later in life, which is a shame. But again, what can you do? So I'm glad that I found photography now, and I'm really, really enjoying it. But it's really fascinating to kind of look back and see these very, very beginnings. I'm also very interested in your very, very beginnings, so please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories and your thoughts as well, so let me know. I'm going to pick up with my story in a next video, in another video podcast like this, where I'll show you more photos that I took, and the next one will be after I got married on my 3-week trip to South Korea. So you can find out what I discovered and the pictures that I took at that time in the next video. Take care.